come by and enjoy the music of the Essex Piano Trio at 3 o'clock. That features Beverly Stahl on piano, David Cabral on cello, Ashley Offred on violin. You're lucky because they're here right now to give us a little preview. Welcome, the Essex Piano Trio.
Thank you.
Great to have you all here. Really appreciate it. Now, it says the Essex Piano Trio, but as I just mentioned, each one of you plays a different instrument. So, Beverly, maybe we could start with you and give us a little background on the trio, if you could, on the group.
Well, I could do that. And first I'll start with piano trio.
Yes.
There are not 3 pianos.
Okay.
It actually came out of, I think, Baroque playing where there was a continuo player supporting perhaps a solo instrument with harpsichord. And then as the piano was invented and it grew, composers started finding a way that all these instruments would be equal.
Okay.
So the piano is still, we hang out with doing all the harmony and a lot of talking back and forth, and the 2 solo instruments talk back and forth with me. So a really fine composer weaves all that together for our 3 instruments.
Very nice. How did all of you come together? How did the group form?
I knew them, Ashley and Bev, separately for what I think we just talked about, like 10 years. And then I introduced the 2 of you at some point.
Yeah.
And we played a recital together.
Yeah.
And there was definitely a lot of chemistry between the 3 of us. We enjoyed playing together a lot.
Okay. And about how long ago was that, would you say?
We're going into our 4th year playing as a trio.
So relatively new then.
Yeah.
And how would you kind of assess it? How's it going? How's it been received, actually?
Really well.
Yeah.
We started small and we're just growing and getting our name out there.
And where do you play? What kind of venues do you find yourself playing at?
We've played in churches. We've played in concert halls.
Got to play in a mansion. Now we get to play in a library.
Yes, we played at the Salem Witch House.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That
We
was
played at
that was
Salem High
really-
School a couple of weeks ago with an
So
orchestra, so that was pretty neat to have the trio with the orchestra.
Yeah, so you're really out in the community then. So this is not just tucked away in a concert hall somewhere. You're really out there at library here now and schools,
Right.
as you mentioned, and
up to
even
Maine.
Yeah,
churches.
up to Maine, New Hampshire.
Really? Okay.
We're playing in Rhode Island.
Okay.
Connecticut.
So I'd be curious to hear about all of your kind of backgrounds and how you got to this point in your lives/careers, if you will. Maybe Ashley, you can start and give us a little bit of information about yourself.
Sure, yeah. So I'm a New Englander by birth. I'm from Maine. Went to school up there, then went to the Midwest for more school. And my husband and I really missed New England. So
Okay.
Boston's a place that a lot of musicians can work.
Sure.
So we came here and been here for about 10 years now, playing with Dave for almost 10 years
Right.
now too, yeah. So.
And would you say this is your kind of job, your primary
Yeah,
career?
I'm a full-time musician.
You are?
I play with the trio. I also teach lessons to little fledgling musicians.
Okay.
Yeah,
Piano and violin.
piano and violin.
quite well.
It's good work.
It's good work.
Yeah.
If you can get it.
They're cute.
So what would be your kind of advice, I guess, to an aspiring musician? What do you tell your students if they want to become, full-time musicians as you put yourself?
Number 1, listen and see as much music as
Really?
you can. Yeah, I mean the practice obviously, but if you're not, if your ears aren't in it and your heart's not in it and you're not experiencing it, you really don't know what it means. So
What is it when you say it?
music,
Magic.
the practice of music making.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it also an art, though?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely gets to that creative part of your brain where you make something beautiful. So.
Have it always been classical music in your repertoire, or are there other types of music, would you say, as well?
For the most part, yes.
Okay.
I will venture out a little bit sometimes. I've done pop rock concerts. Those
Yep.
are fun with the big venues and arenas.
Okay.
And things. But yeah, for the most part, this is where my heart is.
So now for this particular setting, you're playing violin.
Yes.
But do you have other instruments as well that you're...
I do a little bit of piano, but violin is my primary training. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Beverly, how about yourself? You seem to be kind of the veteran, I will say, of the group.
That would be a fair.
Okay.
That's a way of saying I'm old.
Didn't say that.
Well, it's
The most
okay.
experienced.
The most experienced.
Yeah.
No, I grew up in the South,
Oh.
country music world, right?
Really?
But I think from the time I was 15,
Yeah.
I knew that classical piano was where I was going. The odd thing I think about me is that just being in a practice room or playing on a concert stage by myself is not who I want to be. It's always been working with friends that was exciting. I played a lot with singers. And that's another world and a wonderful one. But there's some incredible magic to these two people. String players can be difficult. Pianists can be difficult.
Yeah.
But there's something about magic when all of a sudden there is no warfare in it. When there is just give and take and conversation and nobody's ego gets hurt.
Yeah.
So that's why I make music.
Yeah.
Is for that magic.
It's true. We have a very healthy rehearsal process where, there's no divas among us.
Okay. Yeah. That's the second time you've mentioned conversation and talking. So you're speaking with your music.
Yes.
Yeah. You're expressing yourself through your music.
It's always been about that.
Sure.
Music is the heart of my being. There's no other way to describe what my life has felt like.
Wow.
And I haven't always been able to do it as the center.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point I am, and it's where I want to be.
Yeah. You're teaching still, right?
I'm still teaching at Salem State.
Okay.
I do some of the Music 100 or the
Yep.
Women in Music courses. I do all the accompanying. So I meet all the babies, players and singers,
Right.
and try to bring them along a little bit to learn what the art is about,
Yeah.
to learn what makes it magic.
Are young people still interested in classical music? I mean, sigh.
Not so much.
Yeah.
For some of them, it's even the music majors there, which horrifies me. It's just a foreign world that they think has been bypassed. And I know that there are wonderful communities where it hasn't been. But at Salem, we just try to bring them along a little bit as we can.
Yeah. Do you find converts, after they've maybe gone through the process and learned a little bit about
Definitely.
Because folks like Beethoven and Bach were rebels of their time, right?
Yes, they were.
I mean,
Totally.
those were like the punkers of their day, right?
Or Liszt was the rock star of his age.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I think when you
Yeah.
personalize it, maybe it's like it opens their eyes a
it
little
makes a difference.
Yeah.
And when they learn that there's something more than just singing a tune and playing a few chords with it. So.
bit. Or plugging it into an app.
Yeah.
David, you are the cello player.
I am.
With the Essex Piano Trio.
Yes.
Has that been your forte through your career?
Well, I play multiple instruments.
Okay.
I think now I probably consider cello my main instrument.
Okay.
But out of high school, I attended the Boston Conservatory. I didn't graduate. But
Okay.
went to the Boston Conservatory for viola performance. And I've always kind of played viola and cello simultaneously my whole
Okay.
life. And I think at the time I needed a more steady 9-to-5
Yep.
job. So I actually make my living in the medical field.
Really?
Yeah, unlike Ashley and Bev, I don't make my living doing music.
Okay.
I feel like my daytime career allows me to kind of explore music. So I'm not a full-time classical musician either. I also play in a Celtic band.
Really?
As well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of straddle the classical and Celtic worlds.
Right.
I've always kind of been a little bit of a jack of all trades as far as music goes.
Okay. Are you a doctor?
No, I'm a medical technician.
Okay.
So I work in pediatric cardiology.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, doing ultrasound, fetal ultrasound.
Wow. Now, how do those two sides of your brain exist together?
It's interesting.
Yeah,
It's
one is
funny.
very-
There's something to that, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the connection
Yeah.
is, but there are a lot of musicians that work in the medical field.
Yes.
Interesting.
In fact, in Boston, there's the Longwood Symphony, which is made up completely of people in the medical field.
Okay.
So there's something there. I don't know what it is, but
Well, I guess medicine can be considered an art form, I suppose. They call it practice, right?
yeah. Well, it's definitely an art form, but
Yeah.
there's a science to music
Well,
too.
Okay.
So I don't know, the musician brain somehow, those two things overlap,
Yeah.
science and music.
Interesting. Yeah. So the Essex Piano Trio, who would you say is your audience? I mean, who enjoys listening to you folks, and what do they get out of your performances?
I think we
That's a great
work
question.
really hard to not do the same format that other piano trios do, which is 3 really big works, which might be difficult for a listener who's not used to attending
Yeah.
those kinds of events. So we like to pull in a smattering of all different styles. We've done some tango, we've done
Ah.
some more eclectic modern things,
Okay.
some of our own arrangements of works, just to try to give more things and more variety, maybe to an audience that isn't, is looking for that.
Right.
And we talk.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
you-
yeah.
Oh, okay. So
An
during the
audience will
performance?
listen to almost anything
Yeah.
if you can convince them of its worth.
Yeah. Interesting. So before the show or during or after? During.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll introduce pieces?
Well, yeah, and Bev is really great about kind of setting up certain pieces that might be a little more challenging for an audience
Yes.
to hear. Certain composers are a little bit more challenging than, the classical stuff that's very easy to listen to.
Yeah.
Bev is really great about kind of preparing them for what they're about to hear.
Okay.
And I think that starting off at that point really helps the audience appreciate it more.
Okay, so in other words, listen for this, that helps them pay attention,
Right.
I suppose,
And just saying, it may sound a little strange to you,
Yeah.
but this is where it comes from.
Okay. You all seem to really enjoy and get a passion for what you do, so I'm sure it's going to come out in the music and the performance as well. Our viewers luckily get a little preview right now because we're going to show them a little clip of your performance. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk to
you.
you.
Thanks very
Our
much.
pleasure. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And if you'd like to get more information about this or any of the programs at the library, go to their website. It's thomascranelibrary.org.